All right. Let's see. Are we? Oh, it does not look like we're live. Let me see. Video. It does not look like. Hmm. Testing. The camera is not working. Why is the camera not working? Okay. For some reason. Hmm. Ah, there it is. All right. Cool. All right. Not sure why that wasn't working before, but at least it's working now. And we are live. So today I'm going to talk to you about the microcurrent technologies. And if you haven't seen it yet, in the description of this live video, you should see a link both to my healthharmonic.com page, which has the video, as well as a direct link to the video I posted on Friday, which is all about the history of this Russian microcurrent technology. And and I explained kind of the history behind it, as well as what led to the what led to the development in Texas, where the current models are manufactured. It looks like um, there's an error from YouTube. I think it is recording though, so I'm going to keep going. Please let me know type into the chat that you can hear me if my audio is sounding good to you, and and it does appear that it's working. Um, let's see. Oh, yeah, I had a feeling this might happen. Um, I'm still in the early stages of figuring out this whole YouTube streaming thing, and apparently this computer really can't handle it. At least not from OBS. So I am struggling to keep this stream going at this point. Um, but I believe it's still going. Yeah, it's still going. So I'll keep going here, but do type into the chat if you hear me okay. I am working on getting a better computer so I can do streams like this and also stream to Rumble at the same time. Um, but to start off, before I get into anything here, I just want to let everyone out there know that I am not a doctor or health professional in any sort of way. I like to dig deep into various health topics and learn lots of stuff and share what I learn in these various videos. But none of the statements that I make here have been evaluated by the FDA, and as such, none of the information or products that I mention are are designed to cure, prevent, diagnose, or treat any disease. So if you have a disease, please do seek professional help. And with that out of the way, I will start explaining about this microcurrent technology. So, microcurrent is very low intensity electrical currents that are essentially meeting the body at the intensity level of our bioelectric fields. So we are natural organisms that send impulses throughout our system to communicate, so our organ systems know what's going on everywhere in the body. And the microcurrent is really using these specific frequencies and waveforms, which I'm going to explain here in a moment, but using these specific types of waveforms in order to try to mimic the type of frequencies and waveforms that we naturally use in our own intracellular communication pathways. So, this is why this is so important, is we are naturally using these impulses as a communication network in our bodies anyway, and 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 the technology that the Russians developed, which uh, these are two of the Russian devices. Looks like I need to turn on. I'm going to turn on this light right here if I can reach it. So, as I was saying, these devices were the some of the original devices from Russia. They called them the SCANAR. It stands for self-controlling energo neuroadaptive regulator. Quite a mouthful. Um, and I cover a lot of the history of these devices in the video that's linked on the in the description of this video. And also you can visit the page to learn more, healthharmonic.com/micro. And the what they did in this secret Soviet space program project, where they were working on developing these devices for the cosmonauts to use in outer space, is they were trying to back engineer the signals that our bodies use for natural communication, and they were developing this for many years, decades, I believe, and they ultimately came up with these devices. Then, when the Soviet Union collapsed, because this was a secret program back then, but when the Soviet Union collapsed, it became a a public uh, public businesses were developed, and there were two main companies. There was RITM, RITM, which is the company I represented back uh, over a decade ago, selling these devices like this this one and that white one too. So I mean, I represented Riddim. There was also another company that still is around called Let Medical, and Riddim is still around as well. It doesn't seem like they have much going on in this country anymore. And it's also really hard to export products from Russia to the U.S. these days, as you can imagine. Um, so that's put a damper on things. But the bottom line is what they figured out is these specific types of waveforms that are used to help jumpstart the healing process. Because the problem is that we are stimulated from all angles these days. We're constantly being bombarded with stimulus in terms of electromagnetics from all the wireless technology. And you got nowadays we got the smart meters and the smartphones typically in someone's pocket, um, buzzing all the time and sending out signals from all the apps and constant bombardment. It confuses our bodies on how to best communicate with our tissue in order to be able to to know where to start healing. So, because we've always got so much going on that how are we going to know what to focus on, what our bodies should focus on to heal right now in this moment? And that was one of the goals of the scanar technology, was to help bring back that focus. And they discuss a lot about the release of neuropeptides, and there's other various models of our bioenergetic fields that can apply to the use of these devices as well. And they they were always used with these. This is one of the electrodes, and then you can also use an external electrode plugged into the side. But these were used to test the skin locations for changes in the energy flow in the body and help unclog energy blockages in certain locations. A lot of the locations are up and down the spine, but they basically mapping these devices to unclog the energy flow, get things flowing smoothly throughout the body. And then along came and I tell the story in the video in the link in the description below, or like I said, you can visit healthharmonic.com/micro to learn more. And keep in mind, one of the reasons that I'm doing this right now is we do have a major price increase coming to after tonight. So all of the American-made versions of this technology, which are from the Avazzia company, are going up in price significantly. Most of them about $1,000 each tonight. So check it out. Check out healthharmonic.com/micro while you can tonight, and consider grabbing one for yourself before this price increase. But what I was getting to is that this company ended up in collaboration with the Hashes, which is a group up in Canada, which I've worked with for many decades. Well, not many decades, at least a couple decades at this point. And they, because they originally worked with these Russian devices, and were doing trainings with those for a long time, and they now have co-developed a couple devices. This device, which is the Evolution, which has 8 specific pre-programmed programs in it, and then the Pinnacle device, which I don't have here. I actually just ordered my Pinnacle device before the price increase today myself as well. So I'll be doing more detailed videos with that once I have it. But they co-developed these devices with Avazzia. And the unique thing about them is the specific programs. This one has 8. The Pinnacle actually has 65 different programs. And later in this video, I will go through some of the details about what some of the different programs are, because there's so many of them. But that's really more for the Pinnacle device, which I'm really excited to get my hands on. I'll have it probably in a couple weeks. Um, but and it also offers custom programming and lots of versatility. It also has the testing and diagnostic capabilities that this one doesn't really have. They called it dosing. The Russians called it dosing. Basically, it's like a dose is a particular response that comes back from the skin test, and from the waveforms being generated, and so depending on the condition of the skin and the response from the body, the dose might be, a few seconds, and it might be a few minutes. So that's one of the things that the Pinnacle device does, which the Evolution does not. Also the Pinnacle, like I think I already mentioned, it has 65 different programs, including 12 really unique what do they call them? Modes, 12 unique modes that are like more intricate, like as far as like how long they run, and I'll go over that as well. But yeah, so the bottom line is that the goal of these devices is to say like, hello over here. This is where healing needs to happen, and then the natural healing response can then move in and start healing the tissue where it's at. So that is that's kind of the root of it. And I'm going to go through, before I get into some of the custom programs, I'm going to go through and give you a link. I'm going to give you an overview of some of the most common questions that I got in the last few days, and then we can go from there. But yeah, so I get a lot of basic questions like, what's the warranty? It's a 2-year warranty on these devices. Again, the prices are all going up after midnight or the Pinnacle. There's also a Genesis model, which I don't really recommend so much for most folks. So again, 2-year parts and labor warranty, made in the U.S., made in Texas. Great company, very high quality manufacturing, really solid in the construction. It's when you hold one of these, you can really tell, especially in comparison to some of the Russian devices. The questions about comparison with the Ritem models is that these devices were really complicated to use. the new professional model, which is called the Pinnacle, is this form factor. So the shape of it is more like this one, but the the ease of use is so much better, so much better. It looks like it switched to the wrong camera. That's weird. Oh no, now it's back. Um, okay, so yeah, much easier to use, mostly because there's a ton of preset uh, preset programs in this one, but also in the Pinnacle. Very easy to use because of the preset programs, and you can also do custom programming on it, whereas this one did not have any custom programming. The frequency range of these Russian devices was 350 hertz. These go up to 1563 hertz, so much higher frequency range, and also, like I mentioned, custom programming, and this they have an auto shut off mode that was I had some questions about that. Also so the Pinnacle, this one is the Evolution. The Evolution does have an auto shut off after 1 hour. The Pinnacle can be adjusted to run for, like, for example, all night if you want to keep it running all night. Um, Comparison with a tens unit. Now, technically, these these units fall under the microcurrent classification by the FDA. So they classify this as a 510K classification, which means it falls into the same classification as a tens unit, such as like an alpha stim or a cranial electrical stimulation device with the ear clips. And this does come with ear clip electrodes, so it can be used in that manner as well. But it's much more sophisticated than a traditional TENS unit or a cranial electrical stimulation or even a there's a lot of different types of TENS systems out there, much more sophisticated because of the sophistication in the waveforms and the way it's trying to mimic the natural waveforms that we use for our communication pathways. So that's a big difference. Um, and and I guess I'll jump into the some of the programming, just so we can get into that. I did have some questions about some specific things, some questions about what can it do for VAX injury. There are some protocols for that, but since we're here on YouTube, I'm not going to go any deeper into that. But you can hit me up. We have a chat in the bottom right that you can click on or tap on, and you can chat with me by text, and I can answer any specific questions that you might have. The Getting into the the programs, because that's where the fun starts. Um, let's see. Okay, I have to pull this file up here. Um, so so the programs are awesome. There's so many of them, and that's the only that's the only limitation. But before we get into some of the really specific programs, I want to talk to you about the 12 modes And all this stuff I'm talking about now is exclusive to the Pinnacle device, which is like basically the updated American version of this device, which is like the professional device. Which, by the way, this device 10 years ago we were selling them for $4,400, and considering how much things have increased in price, the Pinnacle device is a bargain, in my opinion, because it's real like it's basically selling just for a few $100s more than that right now. But of course, tomorrow there's $1,000 price increase. So if you're watching the replay of this later, I apologize, but those are that's beyond my ballpark as far as deciding how much these things cost. Um, but yeah, there's 12 different modes that are accessible on the Pinnacle. These old Russian devices never had these. Make it super easy to just run. Like if I want to run something for nerve pain or nerve damage, there's the Bio 2 program or mode. And then if I want to run something for joint pain or joint damage, there's the Bio 24. Muscle pain or damage, I'll run the 14. And on. There's one for tendon, for bone, for just general pain and chronic pain, wound healing, post-surgical, basic treatment cycle, acute injuries and pain, keloid scars and scar pain, deep internal scar tissue, soft tissue regeneration, and so those are the 12 modes. Now, another thing I want to mention here is these devices, whether it's the Russian devices or the U.S. made ones that we promote now in the Evolution and the Pinnacle, these devices have been known from the beginning to be really helpful for trauma. To get someone, and I've seen this firsthand, someone that's got good experience with one of these devices, or even at this point with the new units that I'm talking about, it's super easy to use, and to get someone from that like initial trauma of an injury to a relaxed state where things can be assessed and treatment options can be decided upon, that may or may not include the device, but the ability to get to calm someone down is phenomenal with these devices, and that's just because they're tapping directly into these pathways, these signal pathways that we're using in our system, and by tapping back into that, we can revert from that state of trauma really quickly, and as well as like neurological stuff. So now let's go through some of these programs. Um, we can start by, like, I can explain just that some of the programs are based on frequency. So there's frequency ranges that are called up when going through certain protocols. So there's lots of step-by-step instructions, and in fact, I'll show you the book. This book is for the Evolution, but there's a similar book for the Pinnacle as well. And you can see there's lots of images to really help understand electrode placement with these, and it's a very well put together book to guide the use of these devices. So there, and then in addition to some of the specific frequencies, There's what they call blue stimulation. There's just general stimulate, deep stimulate for relaxation and and relief from pain and things like that. Sports injury programs. There is the 121 hertz is I'm pretty sure that's the one that's used for a protocol that we've always called little wing, which basically it's using this electrode, and there's a lot of different electrodes that are included with the deluxe packages of both the Evolution and the Pinnacle. They're a different group of extra probes and things for each for the specific unit, but this one comes with both, and for the little wing, for just as an example, the electrode would be placed right here, and what it does is it's stimulating the vagus nerve and helping release tension through the neck and in the shoulders and in the arms, and literally causes a movement like this. So there's like some involuntary muscle stimulation, which helps release a lot of tension. It's a phenomenal protocol, really easy to do as well. Then there's the fMRSI, which I believe is similar to the swing mode that this device had. So there's quite a few similarities in terms of some of the programs, and then some of them are based on a particular range of frequencies, like 24 to 180 hertz. Then there's some tighter ones like uh, like zero point 0.5 to 4 hertz, 3 to 8 hertz, 7 to 12 hertz, 12 to 32 hertz, et cetera, et cetera. So there, and then there's some randomized programs that are called the eStim. There's 4 different ones of those. And as I mentioned, custom programming is available in the Pinnacle device as well. So there's a lot of different options with these devices, and a lot of different programs, and like I mentioned, trauma. There's an acute trauma program. Um, lots of other things like solfeggio frequencies, the Schumann resonance frequencies, some deep relaxation frequencies as well, sleep enhancement frequencies, all kinds of stuff, and I could kind of go on and on for a while. HGH promotion, production, relaxation, exercise, sports injury type stuff, slow twitch muscle sports injuries, neuropathic and neurological stuff, a lot in that realm. Then there's a lot that goes along with the protocols, which the hashes are the group I mentioned that have been working with this technology since the Russian devices, and I've been working with them since then as well. And they co-developed these devices with Avazzia, the Evolution and the Pinnacle device. So there's so many programs. There's also been there's a lot of research that went into skin health when it comes to using these devices. So the I mean these devices and and similar devices have been used for really for decades now, as far as like an electromagnetic facelift type of effect, just through rubbing the electrodes on the skin, and the and there's also, of course, the eye goggle electrodes, which I showed in the other video. There's ear clip electrodes. I mentioned those before. These eye goggle electrodes are really difficult to get right now because they're made in Russia. And they're shipped through Israel of all places. They're currently sold out, but we will have them available at some point in the future, and then hopefully in the next few months. Just be aware that when they do come available as a pre-order, they sell out pretty fast. So try to get your order in quick if you want to get one. Yeah, and so that's kind of that's what I wanted to cover as far as the programs go. Let's see if there's any questions that came in. Let's see. I don't think so. It looks like I didn't get any. Oh, here. Yeah, so I'm getting comment that the video is freezing up. See, I think what it is that this computer I'm on is not suitable. I had a feeling that this was going to be the case, because it's this I'm using a software called OBS, which streams through the computer, obviously, but it's a software separate from YouTube. The one that I did earlier was actually streamed directly from YouTube. So I think that one worked better because the software wasn't involved in having to push this data stream from this computer, which is probably not a good enough computer. But I did make a recording of this session too, so maybe I'll be able to upload that. But yeah, so I guess that's going to be it for now. So you can go ahead and check these devices out by visiting healthharmonic.com/micro, or click the link in the description and it'll take you right there. There's the first link is actually goes to the same place as that, healthharmonic.com/micro. There's also another link in the description that will take you to the video I did last week, which tells about the whole history of it, and it's much better in terms of production value than obviously this video is with the choppy video. So check that out, and thanks for watching, and hope you got something out of this. And I will be making more videos on this technology in the future. Unfortunately, the price increase happens tonight, and so they will be selling at a different price tomorrow.